What's up? It's Mike. It's I don't. Oh, it's Friday today. We have a weekend. What weekend? The weekdays they're all the same. Now April 17th. It's 10:05. We're starting later throughout the week. Apparently, a couple minutes. My fault. I was late. Let's bring on my first co-host. Let's bring Christina.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
I really got a happy Friday. I gotta really buy that thing and get that audio jungle out of there.
Not really. Who cares?
I gotta do that today. Should we bring Mossing or should we leave him in the green room for 4 hours?
Bring Mossing.
Massimo.
What's up, guys?
What's up? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. I start every day positive, happy. I'm sure by 12 o'clock someone's going to aggravate me and I'm going to be miserable. But
Is it going to be me?
No. You know what it is? I get aggravated. I take what people say literally. For as big and tough as I am, I'm very sensitive. You know, we have different stages of Moss. You know, as we saw last week, I got emotional talking about the humble team. And I'm an emotional person. I'm comfortable with who I am and what I am. But, you know, the doom and gloom, no, it will not be you, Mary. The doom and gloom is frustrating. Guys, we don't know when we're going back to work. We don't know when we're going to have parties. We don't know when we're going to have social gatherings. And everybody is a fucking genius rocket scientist that wants to know the day. Guys, if I can give you the day that we're going to have parties, I would pick the mega numbers. And I would become the biggest philanthropist ever and just walk into people's problems with my checkbook and solve them. But I don't know. So all we can do is be positive and be here for our clients and be real. And being real is, hey, you don't want to take a chance? Postpone your party to January. I don't know what to tell you. Right. But if not, you know, we're all in this together. We're going to figure it out. But
yep.
Morning, Dennis.
Good morning, Dennis. Good morning, Mary.
It's important. A lot of breaking news this morning. Mike, I had some great conversations with the hospitals, and I had a lot of great conversations with first responders this morning. What's that?
My socks. I took them off so I could rub my feet on the carpet.
You already? Oh, Massimo Dodano. What did I already do, Tom? I don't know.
You're already worked up, I think.
Oh no, I'm not worked up. I'm good.
He's good. He's good.
I'm good. So spoke to Richmond University yesterday. Just got off the phone with Staten Island University. They do not need surgical masks. Let's make this official. They have a lot of PPE supplies. They can always use more. They're building up a stockpile. Why? Because they don't know if this is going to come back in a month, 2 months, 3 months. So they want to be prepared, right, Mike? We talk about this all the time. You know, being prepared, contingency plans. But I have the solution. I know what the hospitals need. Negative pressure machines, negative pressure rooms. Okay? Mike, do a little research, find out exactly what a negative pressure does. Don't get so geeky and techy.
It does a negative pressure. Like think of when you're in a hospital, the negative pressure room, when you open the door, it kind of sucks in. It doesn't allow the air to come out.
Let's not elaborate. Let's give our millions of viewers what it really is. So what I'm being told is that these rooms make for a very safe environment for our doctors and nurses to work in, and predominantly there's different options. You can make a temporary negative pressure room, or you can make a permanent pressure room. A temporary negative pressure machine is about $2,800. A permanent room is about $20,000 to $30,000. This is what organizations like the Beanie Fund, and I'm not going to throw any other NFPs out there, but this is what we need to get involved with to make our community better, to make our community more standfast. There's different ways of doing this, Mike, and as you're probably reading as I'm yapping, so you could give us a quick 30-second synopsis. We don't want to bore our viewers because we know that if we get too in depth, we will bore them. But the most important thing here is that the PPE is important, right? And we need to get that PPE out there to our first responders and to our doctors and nurses. But we also want to make our hospitals a better place to, when you go in there sick, you come home healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Dennis, that's exactly what people should be doing. Dennis is part of the Rotary. I don't know which Rotary he's part of, but the Rotarians are an amazing group of people. And, you know, they have foundations and they have money, and maybe they can turn around and say, hey, you know what? And I just know South Shore Rotary because they're the biggest bunch of ball busters I know, and they torture my life and great guys. You know, they might turn around and say, you know what? Let's convert a room at Staten Island University. Let's convert a room at Richmond University. Let's put up North Shore Rotary. We need projects. North Shore is very generous.
What they say, negative pressure creates a one-way airflow. Windows can't be open because I'm guessing you got to put the machine, guesses in the window. The door has to automatically close. The room has to remove 30 to 40% more air than it actually takes in. Like it basically creates a way to suck everything out.
Okay.
But the problem is with creating the rooms is like if you have a drop ceiling environment, the drop ceiling isn't airtight. I don't know if the hospitals on Staten Island do have drop ceilings or if they have finished ceilings.
Mike, TMI. The bottom line is that these machines in these rooms can help with COVID, can help with SARS, can help with tuberculosis, anything viral. These rooms can make a portable machine can vent out the window in a regular room, and that can make a safe environment. That can get rid of the disease out of that room if the patient sneezes. And I'm not a medical professional, you guys. Let's be honest. I'm a hockey coach and a DJ, right? But one thing I'm really good at is finding out bullshit. Okay, and people are respectfully putting crazy things on Facebook, and I go right to the source. I don't talk to, no disrespect, to the security guard at the hospital. I talk to the president of the hospital. And after I speak to the president of the hospital, I speak to other people that are higher up in the hospitals to make sure we're all on the same page. So the bottom line is that, yes, it's a nice gesture to drop off food. It's a nice gesture to make a donation. But if you want to do something philanthropic and it's just a regular person, you don't have to donate to Beanie, to the Rotary. I just got off the phone with John DeMalais. John DeMalais from the hospital. You can donate to the Staten Island University COVID fund. All the money going into that is to be transforming rooms. I think they have 4 of these rooms at South. I think they have about a dozen of them at North. You know, let's figure out how we can get more of these rooms. Richmond University wants to do the permanent ones, but they're very thankful for the portable machines right now. Okay, I spoke to Laura from Richmond University. So, folks, I mean, you can make a difference. You know, and that's a long term.
Sending them food is great that moment, but you spend $5,000 to send the whole staff food, where you can spend $2,500 and send this that'll make a difference for years and years to come.
Something in my aunt is on here, and I'm sure my mother's watching. You go out to that $500 dinner. What do you have 12 hours later? Poop. I mean, and I'm not being disrespectful. What our restaurants are doing are amazing. What our people are doing are amazing. Dropping off coffee, dropping off pizza, dropping off sandwiches. Keep doing it. I'm not saying not to do it. But, you know, if you want to do something a little bit different to make a more long-term solution, you know, we at the Beanie Fund have an ICU unit dedicated, and I'll pull up the pictures while we're talking, dedicated. We have one of the burn units. It was actually the burn unit that I spent 10 days in when I thought I was a motorcycle wheelie boy, I guess you want to call me, whatever it was. And I spent 10 days in the burn center in the ICU. So here, I think we're going to run something through Beanie. So don't jump on anything yet.
Yep. So I just got word Todd will not be joining us today.
Shocker!
He's doing interviews for he's helping the Advance do some stuff. Wait for him to remember who created him, right? Christine, I just texted him. I was like, "Oh, I see where you lie. Yeah, we made you, and now you're dead. All right, that's it. He's cut out. We're putting him in the green room. But let's bring our guest in, and then we'll keep talking after, later. I don't like to be like Todd and keep our guest in the green room for 3 hours. So let's bring in Richie Nichilo from Hand to Hand Realty. Rich is anyone that doesn't know him. He's a great guy. I've become very friendly with him. I'm going to start off by telling you a very quick story. But first off, hi, Rich.
Hello.
So here's the type of guy Rich is. So Richie and my dad, my dad got to know Rich, looking to sell some property, buy property, and Rich is helping every step of the way. My dad called me, I want to say probably a month ago. He goes, I want to tell you, Rich called me up and he started the conversation by saying, Barry, I'm not calling to sell you anything. I'm not calling to ask if you need any help. I'm calling because I was thinking about you, and I just want to know how are you making it through the quarantine, and I was just really worried. I wanted to see how you're doing. And my dad's like, he just called to see how he was doing, and we talked. I think he said you talked for a while about different things, but like that makes a difference. And we tell people that you don't have to be selling. And what did my dad tell me on that after that call? He goes, I can't wait till I could have Rich help do the sale of this and do that, because he just actually cares. So you might not actually care, and that might have been a Mark employee. And if it is, good job. But no, like that's the type of guy Rich is. And if you called my dad, who you haven't even, you guys talked, I can only imagine how many people you called just to check on them.
Yes. So basically, we're pretty much locked down. We were named essential, but we're not allowed to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's the gist of it. We're not allowed to show. We're not allowed to. You could take a listing, but you're not allowed to hire a photographer because they're not essential. So you're relying on a homeowner to take their own photos and stuff like that. And quite frankly, at this time, I don't know who would let somebody in their house anyway.
Right.
At this time. So what I've been doing is exactly what you said. We call them care calls. You're calling people just to see how they're doing. Hopefully they're fine. If they're not, have someone to talk to. Maybe, hopefully make their day if you can. And that's really about it. I mean, cold calls are not allowed.
Yeah.
Right. So they were basically, but they could call you. So if I'm a homeowner, I want to sell, I could still reach out to a real estate. I still could work with you the process, but you can't go to look at the house. You can't send a photographer to take pictures of the house. So, no. But hopefully we don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's the Staten Island Board of Realtors, what they came up with. And I don't know if they're still doing this, but this is what we were told. If the homeowner wants to allow people in without a realtor, they can do that.
But why would you ever want to put a homeowner at risk? Exactly.
I don't agree with that necessarily. Even if it's a vacant home,
right?
We're not allowed to open the door and sit in the car and let people go into a vacant home and look. We're not allowed to do any of that either.
But what you could do is adapt, order, and I'll send you a link to this. Order something like this on Amazon, on B&H. Send directions to the homeowner and say, I'm going to send you a package. You walk through with this device, walk through your whole house, have them send it back, work with a video person, and now you've basically could help create a virtual tour easily rather than just.
Well, that only works if it's a vacant home.
Why? They do the virtual tours. People do virtual tours of their house all the time.
So I worked with a company that was basically the mass manufacturer for those cameras, and you literally need a photographer to know how to run them. It's not something that's like easily done by just an everyday user. It's really like they set it up so like, yeah, you can hook it up to your Android, but unless you were trained and know how to actually run them, it's not worth the time.
It's not easy enough to do.
It's not easy enough to do. No.
Yeah.
What I would say now at this time. You can list. What I would say a strategy would be list, take a photo of the front of the house, maybe a couple inside, depending on the quality. I'm used to having quality photos of my listings. But if somebody really needs to have their house on the market, which it is possible, they could have be in contract and ready to close in a house somewhere else, where in other states they close in 30 days, sometimes no attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
If they're in that situation, you can put the house on the market. What I would say is I would start to develop a list of people who want to see it. So when the market opens up again, we have a bunch of people that want to see the house, and hopefully we can make a deal rather quickly.
Right.
That would be the best way. Again, I wouldn't let anybody in my house. So I definitely understand that. Now is the time. What I would say, if you're home and you're thinking about selling your house when this is all over, now's a great time to maybe plant a few flowers, do a little curb appeal, paint that room, clean out that garage, declutter your house, all the things that you can do yourself at home. That's a good idea for now if you are thinking about it.
Right, and that those little things, do those help the value of the house when you're selling it? I guess it's more appealing to a buyer.
Okay, so not necessarily the value, and a lot of times, let's talk about from an appraiser standpoint. That wouldn't help the value, but it would help your house sell quicker. If your house is, you could have two houses on the same block, and if your house is more appealing, it will sell first or faster. So that's the thing, some things make your house sell quicker, not for more money. If you add a brand new kitchen, it's possible you get some more money, stuff like that. If you have a finished basement and your neighbor doesn't, you may get more money. But painting a room and maybe a little curb appeal, it'll help your house sell faster.
Okay. Now, your son, he's a nurse, right?
Yes, he's an intensive care unit nurse in Staten Island Hospital North. He got off his shift just now.
So is he quarantining himself from you, isolating from you?
Yes. So the first night that he knew he was going in and working with patients, he found somewhere to stay temporarily. He was there a few days. They had a couple of cats. He's allergic. We wound up in a situation where we had to find somewhere for him to stay. Someone we know actually had a vacant apartment and took him in, no charge. So nice. I really am appreciative of that. It is a concern. I mean, it almost feels like you sent your child off to war.
Right. Hopefully a lot quicker than war. But,
yeah.
Right.
This is their war, Mike. And this
it's definitely this is their.
I spoke. Obviously, I have a direct relationship to the fire department, and a couple of guys were like, "This is their 9/11. This is their battle."
Yep.
You got to understand something. Doctors, nurses, anybody in the medical field. I'm not saying they've been waiting for this, but they've been preparing for a pandemic their whole lives, hoping that it never comes true. But now it's here, and this is where I hate to use the term, Christina. This is where we separate the men from the boys. This is where you separate, the fighters and the losers. This is where leaders rise to the occasion, and where fake people fall and burn and die. I'm a survivor. I'm going to get through this. That's when we talk about businesses. We talk about first responders. There are people that are going to leave the medical profession because they can never be able to deal with what they saw.
Sure.
Okay. I mean, I know firemen that on their probies on their first call freeze running into that building, and the senior guys are like, "It's perfectly normal. Let's go." And they pull into that building and they get back to the firehouse. They drop their gear and it's over. They'll never do it again. It's
traumatizing.
That run into a situation that that are getting shot at, and like some people, the adrenaline goes and they keep going. Some people like, I can't do this, and that's normal, guys. That's normal.
Right.
But this is their war. This is you saw those things on Facebook. Our grandparents went to war. We're asking you to sit on your couch. I get it, but there are guys that came home from war that were never the same, and that's we're going to have the same problem in the future. I mean, let's face it. You're a 21-year-old kid. You just graduated, nursing school, and you're holding on to someone. Your first day at work may have been. Think about it, they graduated classes early. Your first day at work might have been staying with a COVID patient that died.
Yeah, so there is a difference from being an ICU nurse and working as a nurse in a different part of the hospital. We, unfortunately, you're not used to seeing such severely ill patients, and it can be very traumatizing when all of a sudden you have to put a vent in and you never did it before.
Yeah.
And
It's
not only that, you don't know how to care for a person that's on a vent. There's a lot to do to try and stabilize that patient. I mean, I only know it because my son explains it to me. But I'm sure you've seen numerous videos of nurses totally.
they're broken.
Yeah.
And Rich, it's perfectly normal. And I think it's important that we as a society, it's easy to send a pizza. It's hard to have that person cry on your shoulder, or the way this world is right now.
Sure.
FaceTime with a friend that's a nurse. Let them cry. Let them yell. Let them scream. This is ridiculous. I got to deal with this. This isn't fair. Let them. Everyone has a roller coaster of emotions, right? I think that is more important, that you should be reaching out to your loved ones and say, "Are you good?
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm good. Stop being a tough guy. Are you really good? Nah, man. I lost 3 today.
Mm-hmm.
Come back. What were their names? This and that. Get it off. Get it out. Get it off.
Yep.
And that is what we can all do. And that costs zero. That costs nothing to be a good human being. So I reach out to a lot of my friends that are doctors, that are nurses. They avoid me now because they think I want to bring them on with Midday with Moss, and they don't want to come on our show because they're busy. And I'm like, I'm not asking you to be a host, a guest. I'm just making sure you're good. And they're like, Moss, we know if we need something, we can always reach out to you. But it's important, guys. It's important to just be good people. That's my thought.
So how's your son holding up?
He seems to be okay. I spoke to him this morning. He did say, from where he is, he was caring for 3 patients a night for a while there, which is a lot for an ICU nurse to have 3 people on a vent, and to be caring for them is a lot of work.
Right.
He said he had 1 patient last night. So it seems to be in line with what the governor's saying, that the newer cases are slowing down.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I could think of why he only had 1 patient.
Right. And when Cuomo talks, he's showing the stats and the number of incubations and ICU that is really starting to drop, which is great.
And don't get me wrong, I know as of last week, there were multiple ICUs set up in the hospital. So I'm not saying where he was, that's what he had. At one point, there might have been 4. I'm not sure. Say, but I know like he had to set up an ICU unit in the endoscopy unit. They converted it to an ICU unit.
Yeah, I heard the same thing from the hospital this morning, that the numbers are down. And they gave me the exact stats. They're going to email them over to me, and that they definitely see that there's definitely a downtick, but they can't go out and say. See, here's the other problem, folks. You can't turn around and say numbers are down, because Mike, what does that mean? I can go outside. It's okay.
People head out, but yeah. And if you look at the number of new cases, right, you see there is a trend down. If you look at hospitalizations, there's a trend down. And if deaths, though, keep going up for a while. But look, even with deaths, there's a trend down.
But the numbers are going to change, Mike, because more people are able to get tested.
Well, so this is, and first off, this is New York City. I'm pulling New York City stats. You have to understand, deaths and hospitalizations don't change with testing, right? That's the number that doesn't.
I'm talking about cases. I'm sorry.
Yeah, cases. Yes, the more you test, the more this number could jump up. So it's possible with new cases you see it jump up, but the real number to look at is hospitalizations and deaths, because that tells a story that you can't lie, right? You're not relying on testing for that. Now, in terms of deaths, what you're relying on is you don't really. How do you tag a death as corona or another issue? That's where testing comes to place, but they use educated guesses, right? Based on
full autopsies, Mike. It's just
no, but right. It's not autopsies. It's knowing, did he die from breathing, a heart? But the hospitalizations, you understand that you can't lie on that number. It is what it is.
100%. But the most important thing is that the number that I want to know, that we'll never know, is did he or she have underlying issues? I had a friend of mine.
Oh, you know that. Hold on. I'll get you right now.
My people are lying, okay? Because I had 2 friends that passed, okay? And when I asked the question, well, were they healthy people? They had some issues, but they don't want no one else to know. That's bullshit.
Right.
You know?
So they have the data study, right? So it's underlying conditions, no underlying conditions, still unknown. So they're still investigating. So in your total, right? So if you look at like your age groups and look at the number, right? And this is again New York City, and as of April 15th, so it's a couple of days behind. But of the 5,600 deaths in New York City, no, I'm sorry, of the 7,500 deaths in New York City. At that time, there were nearly 5,600 of them had underlying conditions.
But what does that tell you?
It's underlying.
You go to the hospital for a surgery, right? What do you normally die from? Never the surgery. It's pneumonia or a staph infection.
Right.
I mean, it's part of the process. So,
but these aren't people going to the hospital for other stuff. It just means they have either diabetes, lung disease, cancer, immunodeficiency, heart disease, hypertension, asthma, kidney disease, and liver disease.
and
So those, that's not saying people went to the hospital for something else and got it, but yes, that is happening, and that's, we know someone personally that went to the hospital for a UTI, and then the mother went to the hospital for a UTI and ended up dying of corona.
Yeah. Well, that's and the bottom line is that I had a personal friend, a very close friend of mine. He was at like 95%, and they're like, "Get out of here before you get something else."
Right. So,
and this person, I'm not going to disclose their name, but a very close friend of mine. They were like, "Dude, get out of here. You're not with the 95%. Get out because you're going to catch something else."
We're getting dark today. We don't like dark, but we have a positive. Wait, Richie, do you like peanut butter? Yes, he does.
Maybe on the peanut butter and jelly sandwich, that's it.
Like how often? Are we talking once a decade, maybe?
What does it matter?
Maybe once a quarter, I'll have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Thank you. It's not all fucking bad.
Mas, you want me to share that screen?
Well, we were talking about the ICU units. I think it's important. So for those people out there that may be interested in doing something permanent to help with these downward pressure rooms, no, George, I do not sleep. This is what we did for in memory of my father-in-law, Carl, and we dedicated a burns unit in the ICU burn center, which happens to be the one of the top burn centers in the city outside of Cornell. It's like if you get burnt really bad, you either go into Cornell or North, believe it or not. And this burn center is amazing. And this is what we did. So, if somebody wants to do it on their own, they'll probably do some type of dedication like this, or a group of people or some families. They're really good. John DeMalais and Christian and his team at North, and I don't know directly who handles this at Richmond University, but obviously with my father being a fireman, this is what we did. And I'm just going to touch on here.
So, George, to answer your question, occasionally he does.
Yeah, you could have some fun. You could. I'm sharing my screen again. So there he is, Fat Moss. Look how young Carly was. This is me giving the speech, and we had a little meeting afterwards of just thanking everybody that came. And, we can see Moss is all 350 pounds. I don't remember what chief that was. I think it was from Special Operations. He's a 2-star chief. But, you think about, just being able to do something and thanking everybody, that, and Grandma Lily's no longer with us. But, this unit is there forever now. I'm just flicking through quick because there's a couple of and this doctor, I don't believe this doctor is alive anymore. I think this is Dr. Cooper, if I remember correctly. He actually passed away, and he actually took care of me when I was in the ICU unit. But I believe he passed.
Well, you were in the ICU for?
I spent 10 days in the burn center.
When did you get burned?
I crashed on my motorcycle and slid on my back for about 200 feet, and I lost all the skin from my neck to below my butt.
Oh, so that's why your back isn't hairy.
Maybe. No, I actually go for laser. But but here's a bunch of guys. Jojo Esposito is still a part of Rescue 5. John Leahy's still part of Rescue 5. I think the rest of the guys are retired now. But they do a beautiful presentation, and this is something that our community should think about. This was probably 6-7 years ago, and something that, the people should think about doing outside of, the food is great and the small little things are great, but here's something that, we can do as a society to maybe, I don't know, make a difference long term.
Yeah. Makes sense. So, Rich, peanut butter is not good. And how about breakfast for dinner? Is that acceptable?
Depending on your mood.
Never acceptable.
We gotta get some topics. This is so stale. Like I really can't.
I think this is breakfast with Bloomy. I have no say in this show.
You have nothing. So, Richie, what are you thinking? How are you dealing with the quarantine? Any new hobbies? Anything different?
I took up an old hobby, which was overeating.
Yeah, every 10 minutes.
I need a padlock on my refrigerator.
If you didn't look yet, Nicole tagged me in a video from quarantine. It's like a family like doing a parody on quarantine. It's pretty funny. It's like 5 minutes long, and the husband at one point is like, "Oh my God, it's been 10 minutes. I'm starving." He's back in the refrigerator. That's pretty much what it's like. Every time I walk by the refrigerator, I'm like, "Ooh, what can I eat now?"
Well, I think what we have to do is come up with a routine, because it is the new normal. I mean, as of yesterday, we were told May 15th.
Right.
And who knows if that's going to change come around May 15th. So in order not to get lost, maybe go into some kind of depression or go some kind of anxiety, you have to find a routine. So I'm mixing in some work stuff. Basically, I can't work in my business right now. So, I can't work outside my business, actual.
Right.
So I'm working in my business, changing some things, preparing for when the market goes live again. I do believe there will be an influx of people looking to sell their home. You're going to have people that were on the fence before. They're going to say, I should have did it.
Yeah.
You're going to have people who realize their house is too big for them or too small for them. And unfortunately, you're going to have people who have passed. I already received a phone call from that type of situation.
Listen, Rich, I'll be very, very honest with you. I live in a beautiful home. My wife works. Obviously, I work. Right now, I'm, obviously not working. If things don't turn around, I'm going to have to sell my house. I'm going to have to downsize, and that's okay. Sometimes in life you have to take a step backwards to go forwards. I don't think I'm at that point yet. I have reserves. I'm a smart businessman, and but if let's say, God forbid, we cannot do social gatherings until January 1. Am I really going to carry the mortgage I carry? Could I turn around and live? I live in a beautiful house, but maybe I have to turn around and say, what can I get for my house? Can I sell my house, pull out all the equity, and buy a home where I have very, very, very little mortgage? I don't want to be doom and gloom, but it's a reality. I had the conversation with my wife 2 weeks ago, and my wife's a board ed teacher. She does very well. She's in the system 10, 12 years. It's public information what she makes. But I'm not going to ask my mother and my aunt to pay my mortgage. I'm not going to default on my mortgage because of Corona. I'm going to do what I have to do and play the hand that I was dealt. Right.
And unfortunately, there are people in that situation. This crisis has also caused a lot of people to think. Like I said, there are a lot of people that were on the fence. They wanted to relocate, and let's face it, a lot of people leaving New York. So they were thinking about it. I'm not sure. I don't know what to do. And I think this crisis is either going to make them go one way or the other. You know what? I'm staying, or you know what? I should have left. It was time to leave. I didn't do it. Now I'm going to pull the trigger. That's what you're going to see. I believe you will see a lot of listings over time. You may see not enough qualified buyers because of this crisis.
Well, the banks raised the bar. Wells Fargo said, if you're not putting down 20%, don't even talk to us.
Well, yes. I'm in close contact with my lenders that I deal with, and stuff is changing every day. I mean, the credit score of right now, the credit score is a 640, where it was possible to get something at 600 or a little bit less from some lenders. So that's what's happening. One of the other things I found out was now the banks are looking at reserves for after you close. You're going to have a certain amount of reserves for you to be able to close on your house. So anybody that would have somebody that's buying and they're on the cusp of going one way or the other, right now, you would want them to be pre-approved all over again, or reevaluated. Let's say that might be a better way to say it. Be reevaluated because stuff, requirements have changed and recently. So that's something to think about.
Yeah, and Jennifer just said that she was was in contract and waiting for the deposit, and they pulled out on the bot.
Yes, and I have one house where two people pulled out, one after the other. I had two buyers prepared to buy the house. It was a little high-end house, and I think the high-end stuff is a little tougher to sell. I do have someone else that wants that house, and he's in a contract that expired, and he's trying to get his money back so he could put it down on the house I have for him that he wants to buy. So stuff is happening. It's just very, very slow. I had a contract go out right before the crisis, just went in, and it just finalized into contract Monday. So it took a good 3 weeks just to get into contract, where normally it takes a week, maybe a week and a half.
Yeah, and Jem Finch says now she has 2 mortgages. Yeah, so I guess move with the plan to be in contract and move. That's the scary thing.
Yes.
But people are still going to look, and once this is all said and done, people are going to be looking to move. I think it's going to, people are going to be sick of everything, right? So people being in your house for a month and a half, like you said, if you're on the cusp and you didn't really like your house to begin with, and now you're stuck in there a month and a half, 2 months, you're going to be like, I got to get out of here. It's time to go. It's time for a change.
You know what else we're going to see? We're going to see, going back to the old days, where people moving in with their parents, because they're in a situation now. Let's face it. Look where I'm in the Staten Island market and I'm in the Brooklyn market. Now, if your parents stayed in Brooklyn and you're in New Jersey, you can't help them. There's nothing you can do for them at this time. You know what I mean? So I think you're gonna start to see, if not necessarily in the same house, close to each other. You're gonna start to go back to that.
Like my dad wanted to do. He wanted to buy 2 houses side by side with each other.
But he wanted to do that before this. I would think he might want to do it even more so now.
Right. Today he called. He's like, if I drive up and don't stop at a rest stop and pee in the woods, will you force me to quarantine for 14 days, or could I come in the house? And we were like, how you if you pee in the woods? But then I thought about it. I was like, I can't have you come, because if you come, then the other grandparents will all be jealous. And like, what am I going to do? Then everyone will be here. But
it's the same scenario. My daughters are staying in New Jersey. I mean, one already lives there and one is staying there. So they've come because they haven't been out. So they'll come in my yard with a mask on,
right,
and stay a certain distance apart. Say hello. Maybe they came a couple of days ago just so they could barbecue.
Right. Yeah.
Barbecue. They barbecued. We saw each other for safe distance, and then they went back home.
Yeah, we had my in-laws came, and then my daughter and my wife stayed at the top of the steps, and they were down below, and they talked. And my daughter handled it better than I thought she would. I thought she would want to go, and she was okay. She understood, except for 5 minutes into it, she went, "Okay, I'm going to play inside. Bye." And when I turned around, went inside, and they're like, "What? She's done?" She's like, "Yeah, I gotta go watch TV."
Believe it, the younger kids, they handle things better than we can.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Look, I could tell my 3-year-old there's certain things I see that are changing that I know are affected by this, right? The fact that she won't go to bed anymore. So now she's up to 10:30 at night, where before this she was in bed 7:30, like out. Now I guess she's getting a different routine, and that's probably partially our fault because right we control the routine, but it's hard. You know, what am I going to do? Yell at her and throw her in bed and make her cry? So she just hangs out and never goes to bed. But it's tough. It's tough on them. We just don't. They're not able to express it the same way.
Mike, I see one of the questions. Could I just respond to that?
Yeah. What question was it?
Jennifer Finch.
Yeah. Which one?
It's 60,000 below asking.
Oh, got a new. Yep.
So what I would say to that is, somebody may be looking to take advantage of the situation. That's possible. But it is possible you would have got an offer like that in the regular market. So at this point, you have to look at that number and
Did we lose him?
Well,
Jen, my thought is this.
oh, I don't know.
He's back. He's back.
If you're willing to accept an offer lower than what you're listed at, then I would always counter offer anyone. I would always counter offer something and try and keep the negotiations alive.
Here's the deal. She's carrying. I know Jennifer personally. Jennifer is a dear friend of mine from where she works. I don't want to disclose. I mean, we're good friends. So she has a decent base salary, and she's a commission employee. Right now to carry two mortgages. I know her husband was laid off. He's in audiovisual install, but which obviously he can't do. We actually tapped the buyer that he had made an original offer to see if they were still engaged. 100%. Here's the thing: I would take $60,000 less.
But you might not have to, though. That's what I'm saying. I would.
Time is of the essence, right? So everything is strategic. In our business, what Jennifer and I do, we're in events. We may be on the sideline till September. If you can hold off, hold. But if those two mortgages are killing you and you can settle, and that $60,000 in the grand scheme of things isn't going to make a huge difference to get that second mortgage and pressure off your back, it's fine. When I bought my house, okay, I lost it 6 times on a contingency because my home, I was into it for 1.1. I wound up selling for $850. I had to get out. Okay. I was in a sidewalk colonial in Huguenot. I bought in the peak of the market. I chose to put all the money I did into the house. Thought I was going to recoup. I listed at the peak of the market at $950 or $999, and I was getting offers at $8 to $850. If I would have taken that first offer for $850, I wouldn't have went through the process for 6 months. I wouldn't have lost the house I happen to wind up buying now. That 6 times in contingencies I lost it.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, but what I'm saying is normally if somebody offers 60 below, they're willing to meet. Usually,
halfway.
The mindset is they're willing to meet halfway. So now you're looking at 30 below. If that's acceptable to you, and you want to cut to the chase instead of going back and forth,
but they have to be qualified, Rich. They have to be a qualified buyer. Would I take $60,000 less on a cash deal? Yeah, 100%. No banks involved. You're going to write me a check and we're going to close in 30 days. No problem.
And that's okay unless you have a 450 house.
Well, again,
house. You know what I mean? So it's all relative.
1,000. And again, I'm not a professional and I'm not debating. I'm just saying, business-wise, money talks, bullshit walks.
Yeah.
If someone walks into Partners in Town and they want a $12,000 party for $10,000, and they say, "I'm going to write you a check for $10,000 right now," okay. I'm thinking about it. If you're going to turn around and want a $12,000 party and you want to give me $100 a week for the next, 2 years, guess what? It's $12,000. And that's where you have to understand. To me, it's all economics, right? It's all got to keep the money turning. And I've carried 2 mortgages. I know the feeling.
Mas, one of the biggest things about residential real estate is emotions.
Of course.
And that's tough. So, hopefully you have a realtor that could guide you through your emotions to help you understand what's the best decision to make.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And pricing the house right. So I've gone through 4 transactions already. My realtor, which happens to be my childhood best friend's mother, she sold 2 of my homes in one day. We priced it right. This one,
It's important.
she goes, Moss, you ain't getting more than $850. I said, yo, list it for $9,999. If somebody comes in and pays, they pay. She goes, we're wasting our time. And she was right, 6 months. So it's important. Jen, I love you. You call me on the phone whenever you want, and I'll help you, whatever I can do. But to me, the carrying two more right now, get rid of debt, get rid of debt, get rid of debt. You know, lower your debt to income ratio as best as possible. And, you know, it's not how much you make, it's how much you save.
Factor. That's also going to be a new factor in approving someone for a mortgage. They're changing the debt to income ratio as well.
If you don't have the money, you shouldn't buy it. I pay my credit card in full every month. Okay? If I can't afford it, I don't buy it. That's it. And you know what? It's look at my credit. That's the reason why I have an 820 credit score. I pay my bills in full. Okay? And you know, at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, that's how I choose to live my life. I got into credit card trouble when I was a kid. I struggled. My aunt helped me. I'll publicly say it. She paid off my credit card, $27,000, and I promised I would never get into trouble again. And the bottom line is that, you know, it is what it is. Like, that's how I live my life. So when, you know, I get great rates, that's part of, you know, it's important that people are going to change. And I think this is going to do that. I think people are going to realize, hey, I need to have a couple of months reserve. What if I get laid off? What if I turn around and, you know, something pandemic happens? Guys, I hate to say it. Yes, Nikki, 820, but I'm not a fireman that drives a Ferrari. You want to come at me? I'll come right back at you, my friend. Okay? What do you want to do now?
So, and you're getting text messages from Rich Grego.
Yeah, Grego. People are watching thinking you must be ripping them off for their parties. You're moving up from $1 million house? No, Rich, moving down if I have to, because not having parties. This is coming from the guy that charges you $2,000. I mean, $2,000 for a pair of headphones. He wants to break my chops on the air. I'm going to break his chops.
Did you buy those, or did he give those to you?
He gave them to me. But on a serious note, it's not how much you make, it's how much you save. Not anymore. When he was single, living at home, he had it. Not anymore, true. But on a serious note, Nick, can I disclose what you're going through right now, or no?
Nick, can I air your dirty laundry? Yes or no?
No, it's not dirty laundry. I don't want to say, I don't want to say anything, but,
And I like how you like, oh, Rich, I can't tell you where Jennifer Finch works. I've only mentioned her on every other live show we've ever had, but today is where I'm drawing the line.
Listen, guys, I don't know. She didn't answer. If she would have said yes, I would have said.
What did I he wants to know, what did I charge you?
He didn't charge me.
So he gave you a $2,000 gift.
He gave me a $2,000. I don't know how much they are.
Did he 1099 you?
He probably wrote it off on his taxes as a charitable donation. Depends on what. Nick, I know you've been home for the last couple of days. How you feeling?
Oh, apparently he has coronavirus.
Well, I didn't say it. I'm not saying he did. I knew he got tested. I don't know if he's negative or positive. I just want to see how he's feeling, my friend Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mark Scarbaggio, probably one of my good friends. He actually went for the bariatric surgery after me. So he's now nice and fit. Another businessman struggling. He is a real estate. He's feeling good. Nick, you are feeling good. And yes, the test did come back positive. So
Nick
Nick
is a firefighter, you said.
Nick is a firefighter, yes. Any of us don't have 6 months backup, not in a good position. Tom, and I get it. You got to put away one, listen, you got to make decisions, right? My car lease is up next month. And the bottom line is that I'm not going to release my car. As much as I'd like to stimulate the economy, Rich, it doesn't make sense. I have a Dodge 2500 pickup truck that is a company vehicle. I'm going to drive that for a month or two. And not because I can't afford a new car. It's just not the smartest decision to make right now with no income coming in.
Why don't you at least drive a box truck?
Because you can't park it on the street at night.
You can park in your driveway.
And what if it leaks fuel, it leaks oil or something on my brand new vehicle?
We know your vehicles don't leak.
I understand. Nikki's feeling good. Thank you. Funny. I got the results the day you dropped off the masks. Great. Don't tell.
Wait. Was he in any of the pictures with you without a mask on?
He was in one of the pictures, and yes, he had a mask on.
Yeah, you are definitely have it.
I'm immune to it.
Yesterday you were coughing on something, and Nicole was like, "Who's coughing in the background?" I'm like, "That's Massimo and Todd. You both are coughing like crazy."
Mike,
George, I totally disagree with that. That is definitely I disagree.
I would never buy used. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
no disrespect to you.
I don't want someone else's garbage.
Nick Patino said I'm probably fine. All joking aside, you know what I think is going to be real funny? I think Mike Bloomy is going to probably get corona, and he hasn't left his house in a month.
Don't say that. Don't. That's not nice. I'm going to cut you off there. He could prove it. A new car is a waste of money.
Well, hold on a second.
George, he's going to send us the data. Look, there's a place for used cars. Like I have a used Corvette, right? There's a place for used cars.
Must be nice to be making money.
Personally, I like leasing cars because you get the car in the best years of its life. You pay less, and you get. I get sick of cars as well. So,
well, no. The thing is this: George is correct. If you buy a vehicle that's a year or two old, it's hit most of its depreciation.
Right.
So if you're buying an S-Class Mercedes that's a $175,000 car, in 3 years it's worth $90,000. Yeah, he's 100% right in that sense. And as long as you buy it certified, pre-owned, yes, Tom, there's 14 cars in my tremendous driveway. I have the Ferrari parked next to the Lambo, parked next to the Bentley, next to the Flying Spur, next to the Bugatti.
You have a Bugatti?
2 of them, black and white.
Nicole's uncle. Not uncle. Nicole's. I don't know how he's related, but he has 2 Bugatti Veyons or whatever. The like $1.3 million car.
Yeah.
I was like, I want one of them. He has 2. One for him, and one for his wife. Construction is the way to be.
What is it?
Construction. He poured the foundation for the World Trade Center, the Freedom Tower.
So he made a couple shekels.
A couple shekels. I was at Mark's house Wednesday. He was 1 car only. Why are people at your house?
Mark Scabaggio is considered essential. He is my landscaper.
Okay.
And
are they essential?
They are essential. They are allowed to cut your lawn. They are allowed. So let's think about this. They're allowed to. Listen. I don't have nothing. I'm waiting for my inheritance. But essential, yes, they are essential. They can't plant, but they can do maintenance, which is important, I think, at this time of the year to cut your lawn. Just at the end of the day, I think, just to make things look some type normal. I mean, they're outside in the fresh air. I mean, as long as their guys are wearing masks in their vehicles, I think they're okay. Yeah,
my landscaper came. He did the lawn twice the past week. But when I go outside, I won't touch anything. I disinfect all my outdoor patio furniture in case he touched it. So I'm way at the next level, I guess, Moss. Right? I'm on like level 10 of paranoid.
Well, why are you so paranoid? I don't it's so unhealthy to be that mentally paranoid about shit. It's not justified at all.
It's
you'll be okay, Mike. I think.
Yeah, but I also have a 4-month-old daughter, and I don't want to risk giving it to them and risk, if it was just me, I would take it, but I don't want to risk for them. So
I actually don't. I think if it was just you, you'd be doing the same exact shit.
Yeah, probably. Oh, we found Boss's other house. Hold on.
So I think I'm going to sell my house. I'm going to scale back a little bit, and I'm going to just have to move into this little shoebox.
Can you help him get that house, Rich? Make a good commission on that?
That would be nice.
Where is that?
Florida.
I Googled mansions, and that's the first picture that came up.
Google. Oh, sorry, Christina. I agree with Moss. It's springtime, and it's nothing like fresh landscaping.
Well, who is commenting from Stop and Store?
Probably Denise.
Denise is great.
I would imagine it's Denise.
I love Jeff also. I can't complain.
Hello, Denise and Jeff. I don't know if I don't think Denise is on Facebook. I can't see Jeff using Facebook.
I actually could see Jeff using Facebook.
Maybe like with a fake name so no one knows it's him.
A catfish.
All right, guys. It's 11 o'clock. We
Are
want
we
to keep
done?
it to an hour.
It's my show. I end the show, not you.
Okay, I'm out. It's 11 o'clock.
Rick, you have anything last you want to say? Did you enjoy our show? Are we the best? Would you like to come on again and pay us the next time?
Definitely entertaining. And I'm out there if anybody has any questions. You can contact Mike. He has my information.
Yeah, look, and
I'm glad.
like I said, my dad, like he called me as soon as you hung up, and I've known Rich now probably 3 years now. We did our little skit with the Chamber 2 years ago with the Mr. Freeze.
And we might be on year 4.
Yeah, I think year 4, and great guy. Definitely anyone's in need of a real estate, awesome guy, and you actually care about people. And I guess that's what again. If that's fake, bravo. It seems real.
I found my niche.
You found your niche?
Yes.
Reggie. Well, and I used to live up the block from you.
Guys,
you were-
conference calls.
Yeah, you don't got nothing. I'll see you, Moss. Bye.
Well, Rich, thank you.
We'll see you at 3. Again, Rich, thank you. We'll see you later.
Okay. Take care.
Be easy. Be good. Be safe. And thank you some from all of us.
I will. Thank you for asking.
Hey, Moss actually dropped off. So now we could do like the talk about Moss hour. Would anybody in the comments like to talk about Moss? Any dirty laundry of his you'd like us to discuss? You're like, I'm going. All right, it's 11 o'clock. Oh, goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, Mark.
Bye, everyone. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Be well. We will be back. We will be back for midday with Moss. I think we have a special guest, correct? Who's our special guest? Let me take a look at my calendar entry. And Kevin McKerning. So we have Kevin McKerning, very good lawyer, fun. Hopefully we'll have some good, fun discussion this afternoon, 3 o'clock, midday with Moss. Join us then.